And we are back. This is the Kommon Knowledge podcast. Sitting right across from me, my co-host, No ID, aka No Idols. Man, this man, dad game. A real positive man right here, a father right here, a husband right here, a man that drive through the blizzard to get the job done.
Literally.
What y'all talking about, man?
With rear wheel drive.
With real wheel drive at that. A dangerous man at that. A risk man, 007 over here. Sitting right next to him, you got KC. This is the honorable man right here, an honest man, a man that's giving relationship advice for all the men out here, a man that tell you how to be a man, tell you not to lie, tell you not to steal, tell you to make sure you wear a condom. Good advice. This is a real role model.
Trying to hold both parties accountable.
Yeah, man and woman.
Yeah.
Everybody accountable.
Yeah. Real role model right here. And you got your host, Ken the Analyst, man. I'm just here to make it happen, man. Stay positive, put good energy into the universe, and keep the team up.
Yes,
ready
sir.
to celebrate that New Year life.
Yeah.
Celebrating that life.
Yeah, that birthday coming.
Dang, man, I feel some type
Few
of way.
more days.
I feel some type of way, man. I really do. Getting older is something you really start thinking about, especially if you don't got no retirement money saved up. You'll start throwing shit at the wall. But besides that, I had recently came across a movie, Judas and the Black Messiah. Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Watching that movie really showed me how unified we was and how organized and like how we really lost our way in today's time, right? So the movie is about Freed Hampton, and it's just telling his story as a young man, like how he was trying to unite in this fight for justice. And it wasn't just for any type of justice. He was just like, we just won't, this is not in the movie, but he was pushing to get a swimming pool and in his neighborhood, right? He just wanted equality, right? So he just wanted, the proper education, the proper health care, the proper food resources. He just wanted to be treated with respect for the most part. Not with respect, but just,
treated equal.
Treated equal.
Yeah.
One of the things he said that that stuck with me was he was like, I'm not a racist. I just don't like the oppressor. No matter what race, what color you are, just don't oppress us.
Right.
And everything. What do you know anything?
Yeah, so really, he had started reading about Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a philosopher, but he really preached a lot of different socialist philosophies.
Yes.
Like he believes that everybody can, benefit from the work of everybody else. So like if we all work together, we can all have. So he got inspired by Karl Marx, and then he started doing different research about other countries like Canada, because Canada incorporates socialism into their democracy. Yeah. So it's democratic socialism. Mm-hmm. So like you don't have to pay your health care by yourself out there. Nobody has a health care bill in Canada. Mm-hmm. And things like that is what inspired Freed Hampton. So that's why he started putting in the work and starting small where he can. So he looked at kids going to school and not having lunch or breakfast, and they going to school hungry and they can't even focus. So then he started just getting free lunch program going, free breakfast going, and all the kids had to do was just come, and he was feeding 3,000 children a week.
And it's crazy, right? Because he started doing that at 10 years old. Like he literally started hosting and leading the free lunch thing on the feed all the kids thing at 10 and everything.
Yeah. I didn't know he was that young.
Yeah,
he died very young, and it's funny because it's like when you look at him, you look at his pictures and stuff, it seemed like he was ancient. Like he was really a young man going through all of these things, and to have that type of head on your shoulders at such a young age and to be able to accomplish so much at a young age, it speaks volumes about what we are really capable of as men. You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny that you bring that up, and I'm gonna get more into the movie. But when I think about that time, and you had the Black Panthers in Detroit, and the things that they all were standing for, right? All of them was they took education very serious.
Yeah.
Back then, right? So when I say I feel like we lost our way, I just think about how nowadays how do we come from just being very intellectual, taking reading serious, taking writing serious, treating one another, taking care of our women. They didn't. They was real mindful about religion too. That they wasn't like Christian. They really believe in socialism. That was their religion.
I wouldn't say it wasn't religion, but it was a philosophy.
It was a philosophy, yeah. But you look at them back then, how unified. Yeah, great. It was little stuff here and there. We're gonna get to that. But you look at how unified they was and how intelligent they was and what they was just standing for, just positivity on a whole nother level. How did we lose? It puzzled me. Like, how did we just? There was some fights and was some things that was taken away and some people had died, but
Greed.
I don't think we should, as a community, I don't think we should have strayed so far away from that. Back now,
it was strategic, and it was one of the opening scenes of the movie. It was J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI.
Yeah.
He was saying that before he even knew it would be Freed Hampton, but he was talking about a black messiah rising up is one of the greatest threats to U.S. security.
Yeah.
Are the single greatest threat to our national security, more than the Chinese, even more than the Russians. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black messiah from among their midst, one with the potential to unite the communists, the anti-war, and the new left movement.
We don't fight fire with fire, we fight fire with water.
This man.
You don't fight racism with racism, we're gonna fight
Frederick
solidarity.
Allen Hampton.
We ain't gonna fight capitalism with black capitalism, we're gonna fight capitalism with socialism.
And Freed Hampton was really special because he started the Rainbow Coalition. So he was able to cross racial ground. So he ended up reaching out to the Puerto Rican gang, the Young Lords, and then he had white people, he had the Young Patriots. So he had gangs through racial divides. So he was real powerful in that way. So why he gets caught and infiltrated is because he is a black leader with untapped potential. So they didn't know how far he would go. So just to jump back to what you were saying, how did we stray? That's strategic warfare. You cut off the head and then the body will fall. So all of the leaders is getting assassinated and infiltrated. Martin Luther King, Freed Hampton, Malcolm X, whoever is a black leader was getting assassinated and tapped in that way. Huey P. was put in jail before, why they had to hurry up and kill Freed Hampton. They was trying to just put him in jail. He was about to do 5 years over $71 worth of ice cream.
Yeah.
He had ended up stealing ice cream, giving it to the children. And $71 worth of ice cream was about to get him 5 years in jail. And then the day before he went to serve that sentence, they broke in and killed him.
Yeah. And to get to, how they use one of our own, or how they used, I forgot that man's name, and I was just talking about.
The Rat?
Yeah.
His name was William O'Neill.
Yeah, William O'Neill. He ended up changing his name to go into protection. But the simple fact, and it's a couple things. After watching that movie, it will bring anger to you. It's hard to watch that movie and go to work the next day. It's real difficult.
I went to work.
It was difficult for me. Now, the reason why it was difficult for me is because the people that didn't like him had no reason not to like him. Only thing he wanted was, equality, right? He just didn't, the whole reason why they started buying guns is because the police would go through the neighborhood, harass the people, kill them for no reason. So it got to a point where peace wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
Trying to cooperate wasn't working anymore. So it's like you're pushing us to the point where we have to defend ourselves. And we have to have shootouts with the cops now. That's not something we was looking forward towards.
And that's what sparked the Black Panther Party. It was a boy, unarmed black boy that got killed in San Francisco, and that's what sparked Huey P. to start it in Oakland. And then he did, his knowledge in law and realized that it wasn't against the law for them to have guns on their own territory. So then they started policing themselves, which police didn't like because they didn't like them also having legal artillery.
Yeah. Also, it wasn't even. It's that because Freed Hampton, he did the same thing. He started studying law and started knowing his laws and everything.
Because him being a Black Panther in Chicago sect, but they was all started from Huey P.
Yeah. And I gotta do more research on him. But that was another, and I know even with that, like we are policing ourselves. There's no need for you to come over here, and you still want to come over here and harass. It was when you think about it, it was pure hatred. There's nothing to answer for somebody that just genuinely, purely hate you, that you're here. They hate, they just had a disdain for us for no reason at all.
Yeah, right? It's about that. And it goes into why kill all the black leaders for things that like they're fearing just the potential of what we could have been if they would have let these people live.
Yeah.
Because and like Freed Hampton, like him, it's not just a black or a white thing. Like everybody on the same page, which is general social advancement. Yeah. Everybody getting to a better spot. They couldn't have a person like that could unify people in that way. Martin Luther King too. Get him out of here. Mm-hmm. Hurry up and kill him. Get him out of here.
And another thing, even with the housing part, right? One of the things he was concerned about, he was like, we all should have good housing. Like we all should have, just a proper utilities, and just our houses should be up to date and everything, right? And you look at today, and we got hoods, right? Things that the Black Panthers, if you think about how they were back then and how serious they was taking things like that, I don't even think it would have been a hood in that time because their whole thing was, build and construct and just live in civil.
A hood don't have to be a hood. It's about community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if the problem is in a lot of these communities, whether it's blacks or whites in the trailer parks, trailer trash, whatever they want to call them, the community is not the way that it should be. It's everybody trying to be selfish and greedy and come up and basically put down everybody else to get ahead. And it's like it's not really a real good sense of community no more, or people holding each other accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like, so when I think about that and I think about, like how do we, like how is a movie like that is out and people are not waking up, right? How do we get history like that and people are not looking at that history in today's time and being like, yo, things are a little bit different and maybe, granted, the government and the FBI, and it's so crazy that the FBI found him as that big of a threat. We're just trying to commute people and feed people because back then we couldn't even go to the hospital because it was killing us and we wouldn't get the proper care. And he was just trying to figure out a way to make free health care and just make it so that the community can, like, and it's so crazy, like, if he would have just if the government would have let that happen, the government wouldn't even have to take care of people that's on Section 8.
Yeah.
If the government would have just let that go.
The government like having that control. It's about control, man. They don't want it to be how it's supposed to be. They want to be able to have something over your head to make you comply and do as they say.
And so to make you reliable on them. Yeah,
and then when you just to jump to when you why haven't other people tried? It's about who really wants to be that next example, who wants to be that martyr, because they're going to make an example out of you if you grow too strong in power. And I've thought about that. Like, I got a picture at the house of Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King. And I look at Nelson Mandela. I don't know if you familiar with his story.
Yeah.
He was the first democratic president of Africa, South Africa. Mm-hmm. But he basically sacrificed his life to go to jail for an extreme amount of time so that he could implement that change. Mm-hmm. But life over there is better now because of his sacrifice. He ended up being the first democratic president in South Africa. But when I look at his story, I'll be like, could I sacrifice my whole life for the betterment of the people? Do you think you could do that?
I mean, yes.
You think you could?
I think if I know, I'm.
But you don't know, and you don't know.
I don't know, but this this is when it turns into Big KC. He once told me, like, you can't. It's only one promise in life, and that's death, and you can't be afraid to die, because if you're afraid to die, then you turn into a coward, right? Mm-hmm. So now, the only reason I want to throw in something real quick. Would you be Goku for your kids when he was fighting Cell? Would you?
For the kids, yeah.
Yeah. So you can't. So that it comes a part of your life that, and I'm starting to learn this, that it may be a time in my life where I really may have to sacrifice. Yeah. And I can't be afraid to do it. So it may be a time in my life, and this is, for another episode, but if somebody catch you and you have to make a decision, whether it be tortured or somebody gets your significant other or whatever the case may be, you get to a point when you can't operate off fear.
Yeah.
Right. So to go back to the main thing, like, when you think about slavery, right? Slavery lasts the way it did because of everybody was afraid to die. Right? There will be a family of 4 or a family of 6 with 40 slaves.
And then you got prisons that got 10,000 prisoners and probably only like a few hundred maybe prison guards.
Yeah.
Why these idiots not putting their heads together to get up out of this situation?
Well, with the prisons, a little different. Some of them, they may need to be contained.
I mean, they do.
But I'm saying, if they all put their heads together, they can get out of there. They can get out. But they're afraid of that sniper on the tower picking them off. Yeah. But you can't kill all of us.
You can't kill all and everything.
But like that goes back to the FBI taking out all the black leaders. Slavery lasted as long as it did because they were doing that same thing. They called it bug breaking. Mm-hmm. But they get like any slave that like showed too much resistance, mm-hmm. you get them and then you humiliate them and punish them in a public way, and then that sends the message to the other ones like, oh, let me keep my head down. You see what they did to old Jimbo? Yeah. Let me keep my head down.
They install fear in the rest of the people, right? So it's like you can't let, even with that, like the people, the Rosa Parks, the guy that was killing slave owners, this is terrible. But
Nat
Turner, thank you. Nat Turner, the Harriet Tubmans and stuff like that. They seen that and they didn't let that install fear in them. Right? You can't let, all because you see somebody else. If I see somebody else get beat up, or if I see somebody else get jumped, I can't let that scare me enough to the point that I won't fight for myself or fight for my friend. Right? So, granted, yeah, you're right. Nobody wants to die, but somebody has to die. And everything. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, so
everything.
But that, the jump connects with the whole, the cowardice thing.
Yeah.
And you could tie that all the way back to like what do you think about the person that sold out Freed Hampton, William O'Neill?
And I'm glad you got to that. When I saw that, it sickened me to the point when I was like, yo, cowards need to be stamped. And like for real, they should like put like they should like brand them with a coward. They should be branded and everything, or they really do need to be put under the earth, right? Because for somebody to destroy somebody like Fred Hampton and to be that person because you don't want to go, you're afraid to go to jail and everything, you deserve to be put down. Like that, I didn't realize how dangerous a coward was until I saw that movie. Like you wouldn't think that cowards are dangerous. You wouldn't think that a coward could be so dangerous that you can lose your life being around one until you see what a coward can do and how a person can use them to infiltrate and bring down your whole squad.
And he a real conflicted individual because like he really did admire Freed Hampton even after. So it's to the point like in his interviews that he had down the line in the 80s, they asked him about does he feel responsible for the death of Freed Hampton, and he like, well, no, I didn't pull the trigger, but you didn't pull, but like you gave them the floor plans to the house that they used to swat in and kill him, and I was shocked when they did that, but I didn't pull the trigger. You gave them everything they needed, so you might as well have.
Yeah.
I felt like perhaps I was on the wrong side. Yeah, I had my misgivings. I'm not gonna sit here now and take the responsibility for the raid. I'm not gonna do that. I didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And then like to look into the allegory of the title and of the movie, so like it's called Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
So, Judas was who betrayed Jesus.
Yeah.
And just like Judas, after Judas betrayed Jesus, he ended up killing himself.
And that happened in real time. So,
and that's what happened to William O'Neill.
Yeah.
So he was the Judas that betrayed Messiah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was looking into it and how he killed himself, I don't think he really killed himself. I don't.
He don't.
No, he jumped in front of traffic. Like usually when a person gonna kill yourself, you're gonna overdose on some pills or you're gonna shoot yourself in the head. I don't think he did that. I think the FBI, when it was done with him, they threw him in front of traffic. That's what I think happened to him. I don't think he really killed himself that way. But, to get back to him and how dangerous it was and how sickening that was to see that and to see how the enemy was able to manipulate him into doing something like that. And the last thing, how you even said, like, he felt like he didn't pull the trigger. Like, even you didn't warn them neither. Like, he had the opportunity to give them a heads up to clear the building, send them off, send them on the blank mission.
And it's like
everything.
Like you so close to that, so it's like you like Judas with Jesus. You like what Jesus is doing. You like what he stands for, but then you still betray him. Because like everything that he says about Freed Hampton is coming from a place of like admiration.
Yeah.
Oh, he really took care of the kids. Oh, he was a real strong person. He was this and this and this. And all of that, you're sitting on the side of him trying to tear him down.
Yeah.
Even though you look up to him.
All because it's because he was a coward. It's because he was afraid of jail.
Wasn't it because he was getting into trouble and
yes,
they was helping him get out of trouble with information about Freed Hampton?
Yeah.
So he ended up joyriding. He stole a car.
Yeah.
And then he got picked up. So like just so that he wouldn't have to go down for joyriding, then he ended up becoming
it's not 100% cowardice on his part. He's a coward, but at the end of the day, he's selfish. And he sacrificed the good of everybody else trying to preserve himself.
That's true too.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, whatever he would have got for that, for joyriding, and he was a minor when he got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
Idiot.
I think I would put more fear into it because the fear of going to jail. Because if you think about it, even in the movie, he was like, I stopped and he was like, I can fine you. I'll put you in jail. I give you this amount of time and so on and so on. I think he was so afraid to go to jail because I don't even think selfishness have the ability to make a person do that to a person.
Yeah.
In some cases. I don't know. I don't think selfishness is that strong to the point that you will bring somebody that's doing that good down. I think you may be jealous of that person, but I think that could be override because you'll come to your senses and be like, no, he's a good guy.
A lot of people don't come to their senses that's jealous of you. They'll take it to the end, kill you, because they that jealous.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But like even like when you were saying like you don't feel like he killed himself, like he could have been looked at a loose end, but the time from when it happened into 1968 to 69 all the way into the late 80s, that's too much time. 20-something years for a loose end to be floating around. His ass would have been cooked way before that. That's why. That's why I feel like he probably, I don't know if he could live with himself, continuously,
And they wouldn't have let him change his name and all this other goofy stuff either.
Yeah.
They didn't care about him, or they wanted that loose end, done.
Yeah, he would have been done.
Yeah. They would have got rid of him easy.
Yeah.
Or let the community take care of him. Like, nah, we're not going to help you. We're not going to change your name. You're going to go back to that community, black man. And we're going to let them handle you.
And that was another thing that I was wondering about. I was like, yo, how was he able to live so long doing something like that to somebody?
No.
Man, I'm surprised they didn't find that man.
Because like he talks about the person that that he was working close with. I got to put his name in.
Yeah.
But he became real close with that person. Even after Freed Hampton died, they still was hanging out. Yeah. And, he said that he went to, that FBI officer and was like, you had him killed. Why you have him killed? And he was saying that he didn't have nothing to do with it, even though I feel like he did.
Yeah.
But it was definitely from the FBI because, like, he was about to go to jail from the state for the ice cream thing. He was about to serve 5 years. But if he would have went to jail, he would just be a martyr in jail and he would not be dead. That's why they showed up. December 3rd. Like, he died December 4th, but like December 3rd that night, when they showed up, they had to show up because they had to kill him before he went to jail.
Yeah.
Damn, they killed him on my grandma's birthday. That's crazy.
Like that shit.
And if it's anything like the movie, he was drugged first. Everything. So they drugged him first, and then his wife was trying to wake him up, and she couldn't wake him up. He was already dead, and then they just executed him, right?
Yeah.
But when you watch something like that, it brings so much anger to your heart, right? It really does, because it's like, for me, it was a reminder that we'll never be, even, our leaders would never be taken serious. We would never be taken that serious. And the only time they do look at us in a serious way is when we entertain them. So the simple fact that you will go out of your way to kill a person that's just only thing he's asking for is better food, better education, and you find that as a problem, that's a different type of hate for a person. And
it's not just hate, it's about fear. Because, like, when you got the whole FBI getting told by their director that you can't have a black messiah rising up, like, what inspires J. Edgar Hoover to put out a whole message like that to the FBI? It's about where the power lies. And the power lies with people. So whoever can control the people has too much power. So you can't let a person that has that much charisma and can touch people's hearts really, really make it in that way.
Yeah.
He got to be snuffed out because he will wield too much power.
Yeah, but I understand that, but how the power is being used, that's got to account for something. Like, I can understand if this person was building a cult or a cult, or I can understand if this person was really trying to rage a war, like, yo, we need to kill these white people or kill these cops, but he wasn't even trying to do that. He was really just trying to mind his own business and help his own people. But but even the mishandling of, when this girl tried to sue, and she tried to sue for, it was like one of the longest lawsuits in history, right? And I think she tried to sue for 40 mil, I may be off by the number, and after, 10 years plus, they only gave her $1 million, right? So it's just a whole combination of being in somebody else's ecosystem, and you're looking for justice, and you're looking for fairness, and you will never get it. They will always play in your face, and you know, they only work with you where it's benefits for them, right? So it just took me down this rabbit hole of every time that we do work with them, it's a beneficiary type of thing, right? I think about sports, right? At one point, we couldn't get into the sports until they saw the talent of one individual and one person just took a chance on this person and be like, hey, he's faster than everybody. I can win with him. Bring him in. And then that's when everybody else saw, then they all brought him in, right? When you think about anything that ever had anything to do with us getting in, it was never out the kindness of the heart. It was always because of profit or being put in a position where you don't have a choice, or trying to do something that you know that you feel is different that you can bring other people to. Like when I think about Cadillac, I think they said there's a story about Cadillacs, and they were saying how at one point they was about to go out of business. At one point they didn't sell the blacks neither. They took a chance and started selling to blacks. Blacks started marketing it and making it look cool. They made everybody want to buy Cadillacs, and then they changed their whole setup.
That goes all the way back into the beginning. So if we go back to slavery, and you got your boy Abraham Lincoln, he didn't free the slaves because he felt it was a bad thing. He freed the slaves because we needed more taxpayers. He was tired of just being able to tax the slave owners.
Yeah.
He wanted to be able to tax everything. So you taxing the slave owner and the slave, well, not slaves now, they are workers now.
Yeah.
So everybody's getting taxed, which helps build the country up and fortify, this country with extra resources. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not about doing the right thing. It's about doing the right thing for the country, not the people.
Yeah.
Plus, it didn't make economic sense. It was more about, it was just like, it was an inferior way to make money picking cotton in the South, because like it was too many places in the North that didn't move by that, so they started industrializing up north because you couldn't pick cotton year round. So it was no slaves, and we could make way more product with industrial machines.
Yeah,
and they was still just being stupid in the South, trying to hold on to old ways. So it's like it didn't make sense from the ethical standpoint because you got slaves, but it didn't also make sense because of the economics, because you're just making money in a slower way.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, like when you I want to say everybody should watch Judas and the Black Messiah. I think gangs should watch it. I think you should just bring that movie to like whole gang meetings and be like, like for real though. I think everybody should watch that movie because I think that there's a lot that we can take from that to rebuild our community. I really think that movie could be a partial blueprint to how to rebuild a community in like some of these neighborhoods that we call hoods, rebuild them homes and why they dirt cheap and stuff like that, instead of letting outsiders, the Arabs and whoever else, they come through, they buy the property for dirt cheap, rebuild it. That stopped gentrification, because then once they rebuild it and put it all together, they put a price on it, a price that you can't afford because your job in that community don't have the number to pay the rent there, and then that forces you to move wherever that would take you. That forces you to be on the government assistance and stuff like that, instead of just buying it while it's dirt cheap or just building it while it's dirt cheap and doing that whole thing for the whole block. I really think a lot of people need to really watch that movie and take lessons from that movie.
Mainly the unity, because that's what the Rainbow Coalition, it was too dangerous because of the potential behind it. When you can't get them to argue, you got groups of people and they not distracted by somebody looking different or being from a different place, and everybody's on the same accord of we need more resources. Yeah. They had to be stopped, because that's really what it's about. It's about everybody, because like it's a whole thing about like they say like if you can convince a white person that he is, I gotta look up who said that quote, but it was like, if you can convince a white person he's better than a black person, he won't notice you picking out his pocket. And if he is 100% confident that he's better than somebody, then he'll just give you the money up front. So they distract people from the real issue of getting more resources by, racial divides or class divides,
Yeah.
and they don't realize that they also need help too. Because you got poor white trash that's living in a trailer park, but they feel that they can look down on black people living in the hood just because they black. Like you're in the same position.
Yeah.
So if they could just not be distracted and be like, hey, we're in the same position. We need to work together and focus on who got us in these positions. That's
If the poor whites and the poor blacks come together, it's game over.
Yeah.
Game over, because it's the majority of people in America is lower class.
Yeah. And that was one of the things he did in the movie. He got the Puerto Ricans together, and then there's a scene in the movie when he actually go to the poor whites, and it was a small tension there. But one thing that they had in common was that they both were struggling, and they both was being mistreated.
It was the Young Patriots.
Yeah,
that group.
Yeah, them, and he had them standing behind him and everything. So I don't even think. In some cases, I don't even think that the poor white. I don't think the poor Caucasian or the poor white people. I don't even think that they have a lot of racism in their heart. I mean,
that's the only thing that's keeping them distracted.
Yeah.
Because if they just like, okay, we're the same as the people that we're looking down on.
Yeah.
But they don't feel the same because they getting propped up in their mind that they're better.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Even though they're poor.
Yeah, yeah, and then I'm pretty sure that when police come through their neighborhood, they handle them a little different.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, they handle them a little bit with more care. It's almost like the situation where I think one of the kids that did the school shooting, I think they took him out for McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
And everything, right?
Burger King.
Yeah, they took him to after he just slaughtered a bunch of kids.
And the church.
Oh, no, it was a church?
Yeah, with the Burger King shooting, yeah, he shot up a church.
Yeah. Was it?
Dylan Roof?
But I think it was.
Yeah, and they took him out to Burger King. But then you have other situations where if it's a black person, they knee to the neck and shooting them on
black. You probably taken out of there.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna even see the jail.
Yeah, facts.
Killed on the spot.
Facts. But other than that, how do you feel? Do you feel that we strayed away, and how bad do you think it is now?
We definitely strayed away because like nobody. It's about us losing those leaders, and then we need more people to be selfless and to take those spots. But it's like we have black people that could be leaders in that way, but like once they break through that threshold, they become more individualistic.
Yeah.
So. The strong sense of being an individual is what keeps us from working together now. Because, like, if you look at our great blacks or anybody that you would think is in that position, once they get through, it's like, I don't see color no more. I remember Lil Wayne said that.
Yeah.
I don't see color. You got money, so like you've broken through classism. So now you think that classism is also connected with racism, which it is a little bit. But now that you're on the other side. You feel like racism doesn't exist.
Yeah, they say stuff like, try harder. You got to try harder, boy.
Yeah.
Try harder.
And to add to that, with the Lil Wayne thing, don't get confused all because, because one of the things he said, he was pointing at this camera guy and stuff like that. He was like, well, that guy right there is helping me, and that guy right there is helping me.
He got help before.
And it's like, don't think in a heartbeat that they wouldn't turn on you in a blink of an eye if it came to them and you, right? Don't forget that. Don't forget in a heartbeat, this is a crew of people that wouldn't even walk in your community or donate to your community or help your community if they had the money, And I think people get lost with a lot of people get lost with the illusion of the smile and the handshake and like, oh, we brothers, we blah blah blah, but not knowing that they really just playing on our intelligence. And playing on our emotions.
And not even just that, because, like, he was talking about he got saved some type of police officer.
Yeah.
But it's like, if we go all the way back to slavery, it was some white people up north that was helping with the Underground Railroad, helping with them, letting escapee slaves sleep in their house to get to where they got to go.
Yeah.
So because we got white people that's helping on the Underground Railroad, that doesn't mean racism doesn't exist. Exactly. It just means that, we got some good people out here that's trying to fight against that system. That system still exists, even though we trying to escape.
Yeah, like on 12 Years a Slave, that dude was a slave for 12 years, and he couldn't even tell his masters that he could read because he would get punished for that. He had to take a chance, talk to this one white man, and plead to him. And he took a really big chance because this white man could have turned him into his slave master and had him done. But that one white man took this letter from him up north, and he was able to get him free because he was not supposed to be a slave. He was drugged, and he was drugged and kidnapped and made a slave. Yeah. And it's crazy.
Yeah, but we're getting ready to get out of here. I got one question for you. Would you, if you can, or would you take the baton of Freed Hampton and the Black leaders and risk your life to put the people together for the greater good, even if you don't know if it's going to work or not?
If I found myself in that position, I would have to try to recognize that. And if I found myself in that position, I couldn't. I wouldn't want to walk away from it because I think about that just how young Freed Hampton was, Martin Luther King was. They find themselves in these positions, and it's about who's gonna carry that weight and that responsibility. And if you find yourself in that position, you almost have to, because it takes a lot to get a whole group of people to follow you and to listen to you. Yeah. And if you are able to achieve that, you got to do something right with that power.
Yeah. KC, he already got it, the cherries. He makes sure there ain't no simps out there in the world. He literally makes sure that the men out there are not being used and tricked out of their money and everything. He protects you from being a simp. He teach you how to be a leader and everything. He keep you strong. But besides that, KC, besides you teaching people how not to be a simp, do you feel like that you will also be can you see yourself also trying to help the Black culture and lead the Black culture back to,
that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's not just with Black people, it's with everybody. It's trying to normalize doing the right thing again and getting people on the right track, and to get people from stopping taking advantage of each other. And, it became life or death with me trying to get people to do the right thing. I'm willing to go ahead and get up out of here. It's like, when you made it to my age, I lived a lot longer than a lot of people did my age. It's people that's passing away, getting murdered by their moms by abortion and stuff like that. So they never even have a chance. And it's kids that's getting, their lives ended shortly and stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like I lived a full life. But am I ready to die right now? Well, do I want to die right now? No, but if it's my time, I can't fight the clock. It is what it is.
Yeah. I can see it now, a female FBI getting a hold of you and be like, that's a dangerous man. And she gonna send another female to get the blueprint of his dream. But other than that, same.
All she got to do is ask to come to the bedroom. She ain't got to kill me now. I could show her what time it is. Think about that.
She was like, how do you get to his room? What's the layout of his bedroom? But I know for me, yes, I would definitely take that chance of being a target. I would try to make peace and positive. Like, hey, I'm not a problem. I'm just trying to get a swimming pool over here. That's all, Just trying to change our projects into regular communities. That's all, Trying to bring a warehouse over here for logistics for the people. That's all. Yeah. I would definitely take on that responsibility, and if it came down to it, and I would definitely hope that I plant the seed in somebody else to pick up the baton. Because when you, a couple things and I'm out. It seemed like all them people that you mentioned that was assassinated, it's like they picked up the baton and they kept it going. And then without that, we don't get here. Like, not like this.
That's right, true. But would y'all say that we in a better or worse position now than 1960?
I would say
with the integration, like, do y'all think that the integration was a good thing, or do y'all think that we should have stayed segregated? Do you think it was better? I personally think that if we would have stayed segregated, us as a black community, we would have stayed stronger. But with the integration coming, I think that it made us weaker as a people. And if you were able to move out of that community, you looking down on your own people because you think you better because you got a white neighbor.
That's very true.
That's really what it is, because it's like money stayed in the black community through segregation, so we were stronger as a people, but we have higher ceilings as individuals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't get through to like a billionaire status and make those type of deals because you need, white integration and white money and Jewish backing and all of that. So like you can really get through. Like we could have been well off, but the highest heights of black individuals today probably couldn't have been met.
But we did great in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other places where they killed us off because we were such big threats. Like that lake, they made it into a lake in where is that? Is that in Georgia or is it in north of South Carolina? They killed all them black folks there, and then they filled that land up with water, and it's Lake Erie or something like, I don't know, I forgot.
I know the story about Black Wall Street. Like we had black doctors, black lawyers, we had black greats in there.
And a lot of trading.
And we were self-reliant. Mm-hmm. So we didn't even need to go outside of that community to integrate with them. Mm-hmm. But like even though we were stronger as a people back then, like the highest height of the individual still wasn't what it is today.
It depends on what you consider the highest height, but
we too greedy, man.
Yeah.
It's like
that's what it is.
Because you talking about the highest heights. It's like we too damn greedy because we don't need that much to be happy people.
Facts.
And we putting all of this material stuff on our happiness, and that's the problem.
That is true.
And it's like, you got like maybe 5 great blacks at most that can reach these heights. Mm-hmm. So it's like, would you rather have, 5 people up here or have like everybody, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, we got people down here and they all the way up there. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
It's a lot with that.
So what y'all think? Do you think it's better now than 1960s?
Better for the group back then, but better for the individual today.
Okay.
Man, I would have to go with possibly the because when technology come in, it depends, man. If we wasn't able to get some of these consoles, man, I might pick this tab. but if we able to get the PlayStation and stuff like that in the 60s, then
we ain't had no problem with the Japanese. We had a problem with the white.
All right, cool. So I would say the 60s. All right, I'll say the 60s. As long as we was able to negotiate and get some of this stuff too, I'll say the 60s. But yeah, other than that, we this is a Kommon Knowledge podcast. Another good episode, man. Right across from me, No Idols, aka No ID, Dad Gang. we got Meet the Squad and everything. To the left of him, KC, honest man, a man that put everybody back in check to bring this doing the right thing back and everything. Hope he don't get hit by a woman. Sad he might get hit like Charlie Kirk. And you got your host, Ken the Analyst, man. I'm just here to make it happen. And this is the Kommon Knowledge podcast.
Whoa. Like, subscribe. Help us out, please.
Especially if y'all made it this far.
Do us a big favor. Like, subscribe. We appreciate it.
And why they want to get rid of me? Because I'm saying something that might wake up some other exploited people and some other oppressed people. And if all these people ever get together, then these pigs that are exploiting us, we'll be able to run them into the lake. That's why they want to get rid of us. And it's just, it's sort of like a primary thing with me. I'm the first move that they'll make. I'm a part of the organization. It will be the first organization they'll move on because I happen to be a part of the organization, the Black Panther Party. That is the only organization, in fact, that has came out and stood up loud and clear and said that we don't care what anybody says, whether they have guns or not and badges or 18 uniforms. If whenever they step outside the bounds of legality into the bounds of illegality, then we'll blow their brains out if they're bothering the people. Right on. And what makes them mad about that? They're constantly bothering the people. Anybody that's out there for the protection of the people happens to be in direct conflict with them. What makes them mad about it? What makes them mad about it is that they had black people and white poor people and red poor people and Puerto Rican poor people and Latin American Puerto Rican people of poor people of all descents. They had them caught up in movements based on racism when the Black Panther Party stood up and said that we don't care what anybody says. We don't think you fight fire with fire fists. We think you fight fire with water fists. We're going to fight racism, not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity. We said we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism. We stood up and said we're not going to fight reactionary pigs and reactionary state's attorneys like this and reactionary state's attorneys like Hanrahan with any other reactions on our part. We're going to fight their reaction where all of us people are getting together and have an international proletarian revolution.
Right on.
Right on. And that's saying all power to the people. Right on. That's saying that no matter what color you are, there's only two classes. And that's saying there's a class over here and there's a class over there. And the reason that this class over here has never did anything to get this class off its back because this is lower, this is upper. This is the oppressed, this is the oppressor. This is the exploited, this is the exploiter. And these people in this class have divided themselves. They say, I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly, I hate Indians. So we fight amongst each other. And you've heard the testimony of pigs here. You got pigs of all colors, you know that. You got pigs that are white, you got pigs that are black, you even got pigs that are black and white. Propagating the same type of madness that this buffoon Hanrahan would be propagating if he were here himself. And why? Because they want to keep you to believing that I'm your enemy, and that everybody else that's black and that wears a lot of hair on his head and hair on his face, they want to keep you thinking that he's your enemy. Why? Because if ever you would disregard him and overlook him just for a minute and throw away that question of racism and started to dealing with a little logic, then there would be no one else you could attack other than Hanrahan, other than Davy, and other than Tricky Dicky Nixon.